I have decided that I'm going to try and do Monday for every single upload. So, Monday it shall be. At least for now, unless something ends up being more convenient down the line, like Thursday. Thursday's the only other day I can think of. Because Saturday is usually a day I'll hang out with friends. Sunday has church, and it's also the weekend. So, still friends. So, Monday is just what we're going to do for now. Also because it's the start of the week, so it makes it easier for me. If the bulk of work and all that is done at the start of the week. I don't know if my hair was done up last time I recorded, but it is now. Just so that you can actually see my face. This is something that I actually do way more often now. Also, you'll have to excuse me because I'm very congested today. But you saw the title of the video. You probably also saw the timestamp of the video. This is going to take a while. For the most part, I'm going to be recommending you resources on how to quit pornography. But first, of course, my story. So around 11 years old, I'd started watching memes a lot. And, of course, as many of you will know, plenty of memes reference pornography. Plenty of memes. So I decided around the time that I turned 12, in my 7th grade year, at the start of my 7th grade year, I decided to see what it was all about. That wasn't the initial intention behind me downloading Reddit, but I just so happened to have Reddit downloaded, and Reddit is one of the most notorious pages of the internet for pornography. So, out of curiosity one day, I realized that Reddit, on the front page of the App Store, said it's rated M, meaning, you know, there's NSFW on it, probably, in all likelihood at least. At the very least, there was some not very good content on there. So I got curious, and I looked it up. I already knew how to spell porn by this point, so I just typed it in. Lo and behold, r/porn came up. I was not living at my parents' own place at the time, so I looked at it and I quickly got off of it. But that seed, the very toxic seed of what was to come for the next 3 years had already been planted. So, fast forward to November of that year. That all happened in October and like September, by the way. Yeah. That all happened in about September or October of my 7th grade year. Fast forward to November. We now live in our own place. The place that you are seeing now, that I am recording in, it's an apartment complex. Because to make a really long and painful story short, we initially had a house that was owned by someone that we knew and trusted, but then we didn't want to buy it, or my parents didn't want to buy it. Everyone else in the family wanted to, but they didn't want to buy it because it required a lot of fixing, like a bunch of fixer-upper stuff, like the carpet had cigarette stains and all that, and they didn't want to buy it because they didn't want to fix it, so we were kicked. And then fast forward to November, we're in an apartment complex, the one that I am in now, and now, well, first of all, for like the first month, we didn't have internet. I don't remember the exact reason why, or like the technical issues behind it, but internet was not installed, and the apartment complex people said, or the internet people, or whoever installed it, said that it was gonna come around late November. So I waited. By this point, I had my very first phone. I still had my very first phone. I'll grab it for you just for immersion if it's still in here. Oh, it might not be. Excuse me. This is a phone that I still had. I don't know how well you can see it. It's very dirty because it's been sitting in like a little cabinet thing in my entertainment stand. But it's very grimy now. It's got dust all along the screen. It's completely dead. It's one of those phones that has the power button on the very back rather than on the side where the volume buttons are. And even then the volume buttons are on the left. It was a very weird first phone. It was also very outdated. You can maybe see all the cracks in it. That doesn't look very good, but you can probably see that this phone has lived through a lot. This was my first phone for like the first couple years that I had a phone. First couple, maybe 3 years that I had a phone. Until eventually I upgraded to this, which is much smaller and was actually worse in a lot of ways. So rather than having just one phone, I ended up using the two of them. And then that happened again with another phone that was more like the first one, except it had the power buttons and everything in the right place. But other than that, it was pretty much a carbon copy of the original. And that one was purely for phone number. But at the time, the phone that you saw, the phone with the power button on the back, I'm going to give you one last good look so you can visualize this story very well. This was what I used for a long time. So, it didn't have data on it at the time. I wouldn't get a data and a phone number until I was like 14, maybe 13. No, 14. I wouldn't get a phone number until I was 14. So, data wasn't a thing. All I had to rely on for, masturbation was just fantasy. I don't even know if at this point I knew anything about it. I don't know how long the little session of me discovering porn on Reddit was. I'm pretty sure I watched like 2 clips inside the bathroom of someone else's house, which is fucking awful. This whole story is basically telling you guys why you should never let your children have full access to the internet, especially things like Reddit, Google, Chrome, anything that can access pornography, because people will go to very disgusting lengths to view it. So now it's November. It's in the middle of November. I'm just sitting there. I can't actually access Reddit on this because it needs the internet. So every time that I even wanted to get close to a PMO session, which is a porn masturbation orgasm session, it's a cycle of porn masturbation orgasm. Every time I wanted to come even close to that session, I couldn't do so. I could only do MO, but PMO would come around very soon, because on the 19th or 20th or somewhere along that line, the internet had finally been installed into my place, which everyone was like, hooray, I can now play online games on my PlayStation again. My family can watch TV normally. My family can also access Facebook and other things without eating at their data, which becomes another problem later on in the future, but for now it's viewed as a good thing. And of course, I was now able to access hardcore pornography. I didn't know anything about covering my tracks on a browser yet, so I just used, I don't know if it's still on this phone, to be honest. It very well could be. I don't think I cleaned it, but every time I try and log on to it, like, when your phone gets really old and worn like to the point where you can't use it anymore. The battery will go down like 1% per second while it's charging. I don't know what made it so bad initially, but it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't function as a phone should, and I'm hoping that I can like scrap it or something for some money or whatever my dad said. But for the time being, this phone battery will last 6 to 8 hours on a normal charge, to my knowledge, which was insane to me because I wasn't like, you know, I spent most of my time on my PlayStation, and this was before I even started using my PlayStation full time for YouTube. So even still, most of my time was on my PlayStation playing Minecraft, Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare 2, games like that, and eventually on a lot of Dying Light. But for the time being, just Minecraft. Pretty much just Minecraft. And but I still got really excited about this because while Minecraft was just as accessible as before, I can now actually view the thing that I had an undying curiosity about since I downloaded Reddit, which would probably have been somewhere around my birthday, which is July. So I had been itching to see what the pornography craze was all about for 3-4 months by this point. So within a couple days maybe of the internet being instated into this household, one of the very first things I did on this phone with internet again, first I checked Clash of Clans because that was a bigger priority still even at the time. Then I think I watched YouTube, but eventually I got interested in viewing pornography again. And I set a precedent that would go on for the next 3 years. I would take my phone, I would mute it completely, and I would go into the bathroom and just watch porn in there. I'm pretty sure masturbation and orgasm was very much a thing by this point. So it wasn't an everyday thing at first, because no one really starts out like that. Reddit was still mostly a thing for me where I could view other posts, gaming, Minecraft, memes, all the other stuff that Reddit is used for, and that you probably know Reddit for. But a year or two down the line, I also remember that initially this all started out as just going to the r/porn subreddit. I had no idea. I genuinely did not know at first. I don't think that there were other NSFW porn subreddits. I think at first I thought it was all sort of like congregated and forced into this small little subreddit with only like 1 million followers. But either way, at the time I still watched very vanilla. For like the first few months after starting this addiction, it was all still very vanilla. I would just go to the r/porn subreddit and I would just look at whatever the hot posts were. But, you know, anyone who uses porn or know how porn addiction works will know that it didn't stay like that for a very long time. Eventually, really quickly actually, a lot quicker than I think it probably should have. I don't know how quick it goes for most of you. I don't think I'll be able to leave a comment down below right now because I think YouTube's going to keep turning off the comments on all my videos right now because of that whole fiasco. Who remembers that? So, if you want to share your experience, you're going to have to figure out another way. I might make a Discord server or something. I'm unsure yet, but anyway, for 2 months, what I estimate as anyway, like a month or 2 months, I don't know the exact time frame, but I know that fairly quickly I was interviewing other types of pornography. And over the course of the next couple years, and I'm not gonna say like I wasn't a man of culture at some point. I did, like, while I was 13, I think exactly 6 months while I was 13 years old, I viewed a lot of hentai. Not just like a normal, just discovering hentai for the first time kind of level. Like, I preferred it over normal porn for 4 months, up until the point where, like, my first revelation about porn maybe not being such a good thing came. And I was watching hentai, and I was like, man, this is not how people move. This is distorting my vision of reality. I'm gonna go watch real people do this. And that was like my first ever instinct saying that, like, oh man, this was not good for me. Which the main cycle of that would not happen again until I was 15. But it started a precedent of me being like, why am I doing this? Anyway, I'm not going to go over like genres or kinks or fetishes that I favored, because I don't think they're important to discuss really, and everyone's case is different. But for the subreddits, the first few things I tried was like what everyone tries at first, right? After vanilla, it was like lesbian, I think that's where the relatability points go away from this, because the next few subreddits that I did after that was like public, free use, like specifically r/free use. Yeah, that used to be one of my favorite spots. Fuck gaming, which is just a subreddit where someone is gaming while two people are having intercourse. That's just the three main ones that I remember. I'm sure I view BDSM way sooner than I'd like to admit. But obviously, it was going to become a problem. It was already a problem, but it was going to be a much bigger problem if someone or something didn't, come get me and snap me out of it. The first thing that did, I don't know how many of you will know this, but it's how a lot of people find the book I'm going to recommend. It's the Pornography Facts with Mio Honda. It's a Japanese name, so I can't pronounce it very well. But it's where that girl from a Japanese piece of culture is singing like her theme song or something, and rather than what she's actually saying, someone captioned over a ton of facts about how self-destructive pornography is. That was like the first thing that snapped me into the reality of like, I should stop looking at this stuff. And that was around, I think it was just sometime before or after my 15th birthday, I don't remember. But that video, as a lot of you will know, has EasyPeasy, the EasyPeasyMethod.org, noted at the end. Like, it goes through all these facts of porn is bad for you, it can easily be quit, and then it shows you the easiest way to quit porn for most people, almost everyone, which is the EasyPeasy Hack Book. It gave me a link at the end telling me about EasyPeasy Method, so I went and looked at it, and I was like, oh, it's a book. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, my first time going through that book and trying to quit porn, that was awful. That was terrible. Not in the sense that it was really a terrible feeling, but in the sense that it didn't work because I didn't read the actual book. I zoomed through the book at like a lightning speed. I think I read it in 2 days. Or maybe a week. I don't remember how I read it back then. It might be very similar to how I read now. But it was like I read for an hour every night before going to bed or so. Like 30 minutes. And it was probably closer to 30 minutes at the time. But I read for like half an hour every night before going to bed. And I got through the book in like 4 days, which is only 2 hours of total reading. If I'm gonna tell you something right now, if you get through that book in 2 hours, you did not understand everything because you did not take time to let everything gel inside your mind, as the book says. Like you need to take it fairly slow and read not like reading a very small amount every day to try and prolong the evil event, but I mean that in every single point that the book talks about, you need to think about it and look at how that applies to your real life, which is why the book recommends certain things. I won't spoil any of it here because it's very detrimental if I spoil the book before you go and read it. I'm gonna have like a whole note of everything that you should understand about EasyPeasy after reading the book. That way nothing will get spoiled for you or anything if you're really interested in it. The link for the book will also be in the description, because this is how I quit pornography. This is how I really, truthfully got away from it and never went back. But I'm going to reverse back to the actual story again. By the time that I discovered the Mia Yolanda video, I had moved on to the Big Boy Club, also known as Pornhub. And I had started, it was really suspicious and everything, because I had started bringing this big bulky ass headset with me to the bathroom every time I went, and then I'd be in there for like an hour. I don't know how my family never caught on to this. Maybe they did, and they're just like, you know, very complacent. I don't know, but I would do that anywhere from once every other week to like twice every day, depending on the occasion. Because the main thing that I viewed pornography for was boredom. If I was going through a time period where no one was online, no one was willing to game, and no one also wanted to go outside. Like everyone was playing single player games at the time, or there wasn't anything good on YouTube to watch. I would usually just play Minecraft. But one of the main strategies I used in Minecraft was fishing, because you might know that that's a fairly decent method to get. It's the best cost-efficient way to get food, at least early game, and you can also have a decent chance of getting like an overpowered bow or a book with mending, something along those lines. So I did it a lot, because I didn't know the pro strategies yet, so I did that a lot, hoping to get mending out of it. And while I was fishing in Minecraft, I got real bored. Like, next level. If you know anything about Minecraft fishing, it's literally pressing the same button over and over again upon cues. Anytime when you walk up to a body of water that's decently sized enough for fish to be in, for like fish to pick up on the line, you press the left trigger, or L2 or whatever, you press one button and you sit there and wait. until a fish comes on the line, and when your rod goes under, you press the button again. You press the button once to reel whatever was caught in, and then you press it another time to put the reel back out. That is the entirety of Minecraft fishing gameplay. I don't think I ever realized how boring it actually was, at least for a long time. But it used to be something I did a lot back when I was like 14 playing Minecraft, because that was the only method I knew how to get mending. Of course, in the main worlds that I have, I just farm for a librarian that sells mending. But at the time, I didn't know of that, because to this day, I don't watch a lot of Minecraft YouTube, so I didn't know these tips and tricks. But I went to do that, like every time I played Minecraft and I didn't know what to do, I just went and did that because it was useful, at least somewhat, because as long as I had lore and luck of the sea, it was at least somewhat quick and good. And especially when I actually got a fishing rod that had mending on it, that's when I started doing it way more often, because you get experience. Mending is an enchantment that repairs the tool you're holding when you get experience points, and every time you successfully lure in a fish or whatever, you get experience. So it was pretty much a completely undying fishing rod. So of course I did it a lot because I thought there was no cost to it. I didn't realize that I was causing myself to give into an addiction constantly. Like every day, if I was going on a Minecraft streak where I just played Minecraft every day, that meant that every day I was going to go into the bathroom and view porn. And there was no exception either. I think eventually I realized how big of a problem this was. Like, I am gonna be honest with you guys. I started my journey of quitting porn before school started this last year. I think I only really got free just before school ended. Like, I would still go back. Like, I would try and find constant loopholes through everything that I put myself through, which is why you shouldn't ever try to put restrictions on your browser or whatever. Because if you're gonna do that, and then guess what? You can just go and turn them off. They don't stop anything. Then you might say, well, what if I have like a password sort of setup where I can't turn it off unless I put in a password, and I make it to where my friends know that password but not me? Oh no. If only there were a million places that you can go and look at softcore pornography. Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And even then, I don't think there's anything I don't know if there's any real extensions on the phone that you can use to stop yourself from viewing porn on Reddit. It's literally a slider. It's censor NSFW content, and I'm over 18. Those are like two different sliders. You just slide the I'm 18 slider on, and then slide the blur NSFW content off. And then, just like that, you can view anything that your genitals desire. So, trying to restrict myself from watching porn never worked. I especially realized this when I eventually deleted Reddit, and I haven't downloaded it since. I highly recommend you do the same, because there's no reason to be on Reddit, ever. If you really need your daily fix of Reddit, go to one of those like Reddit YouTubers or something that make Reddit videos. Like, it's just not worth it. Because like, there's gore, there's porn, it's supposed to be the front page of the internet, and it really shows what the internet's all about, because the main things it has: memes, video games, porn. Those are the three main things on there. And if you know anything about Reddit's old history, you'll know how many subreddits used to be on there that are like next level awful. The most notorious of which being Jailbait. That was So obviously porn was a massive problem, and Reddit was contributing to that problem, so I deleted it. This did not stop me from viewing pornography. I still went on Pornhub. Pornhub was pretty much the only one I ever looked at, but not to mention the fact that deleting Reddit did not stop me from viewing porn videos that were on Reddit. Because there's like something you can go to, I don't remember what it's called. I don't think it's RedGIF. I think it's something else. You can go on there and you can just search up basically any subreddit, and you can just go look at any subreddit. You don't even have to log in or anything. You can just go look at all the GIFs and clips and photos from every subreddit on there. It's deleting Reddit did nothing. So restricting myself, I want to be very clear with this. Restricting yourself from viewing pornography is not going to work. You need to cultivate a mindset like I eventually did, where you're like, I don't want to view porn. It's not that you need to cultivate a mindset to where you're like, I can't view it. You need to cultivate a mindset where you don't want to. So eventually, as I said, I discovered EasyPeasy. This wasn't a solve-all initially, because I still struggled for many months on the method, because it was just, I did not understand the book initially. I took a very long time to actually get used to the book, and it doesn't help that I have a very wild imagination, so for people that have a wild imagination, they know how difficult it is to quit porn, even though they know they don't actually want to go and view it. It's just very difficult if you have a wild imagination, because your brain can think up all sorts of things to look up when it comes to porn. I think that's one of the main reasons that I escalated so quickly into like hardcore BDSM. I was very imaginative. Like, I went from vanilla porn, I think, to viewing my first BDSM video in like 3 months. I think that's all it took. Like, imagination can be a very cruel thing. But eventually, as you'll know, today, currently, as it stands, I no longer view pornography, and I don't want to. This took a lot of more effort than I really wanted it to. So, I'm gonna go over the reasons for failure initially, and then I'm gonna tell you what you need to do in order to do it, in order to actually quit porn. First of all, read the EasyPeasy book. It's just easypeasymethod.org. It's a free book. You can download it in PDF if you need. And there's no excuse. It's like, if you sit there and read the entire thing in one session and actually absorb everything that it's saying, it's like a 5-hour read. It doesn't even take a full work day to sit down and read the entire book. After reading and going over through everything in EasyPeasy and making sure you understand all the points, the second thing you should go do is, and I don't mean by reading the book like you read up to the final visit or whatever, I mean you read the entire book. And you don't jump around, you don't skip chapters, and you do everything that the book says. And you listen to everything the book says. Because if you don't, then you're guaranteed failure. EasyPeasy method works very well, but you need to follow the book's instructions to a T. I can't overstate how simple this sounds, but how difficult it is to follow. It's a method that can work really easy and even enjoyably if you do what the book says and you understand everything that the book says. There are a couple sayings in the book that are like, that are either don't make sense or they don't, they're not very good. One of the main points in the book, by the way, if you haven't read EasyPeasy by now and you're actually on pornography, if you're addicted to pornography and you haven't read the book yet and you want to go and do that, go do it now, because it spoil the book and it's very detrimental for your attempts of quitting if you don't know what the book already says. Go read the book and then come back to this video. Just look at all the resources that I'll have in the description. It'll be worth it, I promise you. You'll save a lot of time every day or every week even. You'll save, your health, energy, your confidence. A whole slew of benefits come with no longer viewing pornography, and it gives you nothing in return. No matter what you think you are gaining from viewing porn, you are not gaining a single thing. Go read EasyPeasy and then come back, because I'm going to explain some of the stuff that the book says, and I'm going to explain why I didn't really agree with it, or it didn't really work with me, or whatever. So, first step is read EasyPeasy and follow the book to a T. If that doesn't work for you, then there are plenty of other ways you can go about this. That my friend keeps trying to call me, he keeps trying to get me to come outside. I'm trying to record a video, man. But the first thing you should do, read EasyPeasy method. You want to read EasyPeasy method first, and then go on to other resources afterwards. Look in the resources tab of the book itself. It has a resources chapter where it has some things for meditation. It has a few notes that some people have written about pornography. The EasyPeasy resources themselves were never really that helpful for me. They were interesting, like Exiting Modernity is really interesting to me by Meta Nomad. Exiting Modernity did pique my interest a lot, but it wasn't really directed towards porn, nor did it help me with porn. It was still a fairly fascinating read when I read it, but it's, it didn't help. So, if none of the resources on there help you, then the next thing you should go and do after that point is go on to the Discord server that's linked in the first. It's either in the first chapter of EasyPeasy, or it's in like the last few chapters where the author's like, "Hi, I'm Fraser and you can find me here." That is where those resources will be linked. Go into the Discord server, just sign up a Discord account real quick. You don't need to use Discord for anything else other than this. And just go to the resources channel. And the Discord servers will have channels, and one will say resources on it. There'll be like resources, chat, another chat, fun, EasyPeasy, forum threads, channels like that. You want to go to specifically the resources channel and go look for resources that you think will help. A lot of the resources in there are really good, like the Freedom Model, the Virgin Book, as well as countless videos that are like really helpful to understanding porn itself. So there's a lot of resources in there. I just suggest that you go into that Discord server and you go check those resources out. I would not recommend viewing anything else in the Discord server, because a lot of the Discord server especially right now, is just moping, whining, and complaining about how the EasyPeasy method doesn't work on them, or they still find pleasure in porn or in masturbation. A lot of the rest of the chat, especially don't look in the fun chat. The fun chat's a freaking dumpster fire right now. I am personally one of the mods on the subreddit, and as a mod on the Discord server at the moment, I would suggest you do not, under any circumstances, go to the fun chat or any of the other channels until you've quit pornography for good. So that's the second thing. So now I'm gonna go over a couple of the points that the book talks about that I'm like, First of all, I have these in my notes. The first main thing is that I'm deciding on which one I should do first because I don't have a script for this. Okay, we'll go with this one first. The first thing is that the book says, this is just for me, by the way, I don't know what'll work for you, but the first thing that the book says that I didn't like was that you shouldn't change your life just because you quit porn. Like, you shouldn't change your life just because you quit porn, because you'll imply that you're making a sacrifice when there's no need to make a sacrifice to quit porn. The first time I read that, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But upon trying the method more than a few times, I think this was my biggest mistake. The book says not to change up your life or your routine or your schedule or anything just because you quit porn. But there's a couple of really big flaws with that. Firstly, most porn addicts that are addicted to porn don't run on a day-to-day schedule or routine or like anything really consistent that they follow every day. So they're not going to be messing up their routine or schedule that much because it wasn't that consistent to begin with. Second of all, for me, when I quit porn, that was like another extra couple hours every weekend that I got back, and I didn't know how to fill those initially. So when the book says to tell you to not change up your life just because you quit porn, it's fine to fill in like an activity or two in the place where porn would have been. What the book is trying to say with this is that you don't need to go out and like go super ham on your life. You don't need to live the absolute top, most healthiest life that you absolutely can, because then if you do that, you're gonna tie that back to quitting porn, and then you're gonna start moping because you think that quitting porn has caused you all this suffering. What it means is don't change up your entire life just because you quit porn. You can change up some routines, you can change up some daily things you do. If the main problem for you was that the way that you would start a PMO session is that you would just be laying in bed scrolling on your phone, just kind of waiting to look for porn, just kind of scrolling across Reddit, waiting until eventually porn showed up because you knew it would inevitably do that, and that's how a PMO session would start for you, then don't get on your phone in the morning. Wait until you're fully awake and all that, and just try not to be on your phone that much. I know it's very difficult for a lot of people. The main thing to quit porn is to not be on technology very much. But the main thing that I struggled with was making sure that I wasn't on my phone early in the morning and that I wasn't on it late at night, because those were the two main things that made a trip to the bathroom. The main reason for the morning thing is that it's the first thing in the morning, and if you're not fully awake, you're not fully conscious yet to actually think about the decisions you're making. And that was very much the case with me, because even while I was initially, like on the third reread of EasyPeasy, I didn't realize it at the time, I don't think. But eventually, I was like, yeah, viewing it right in the morning is like the worst thing I can do to myself, because that sets a really bad precedent for the rest of the day. Like the entire rest of the day, every time that I viewed pornography first thing in the morning, I was really tired. Mostly because of how lethargic orgasms make you, but also because it's so hyper-stimulating. Porn is so incredibly hyper-stimulating, as like any sort of media, like videos, TV shows, video games, all that kind of stuff is so hyper-stimulating, and if that's the first thing you do right in the morning, you won't even have to wait until lunchtime before you end up crashing. Given that you actually wake up at a reasonable time. You probably wake up at lunchtime if you're addicted to porn and all that other stuff. But the main thing is that if porn is what you do first thing in the morning, no matter what else your day looks like, then you need to stop getting on your phone first thing in the morning. When you get up, rather than going onto your phone immediately, I know most of you probably have an alarm to wake up if you want to wake up in a reasonable time, which is fair, because it's difficult, at least for a while, to wake up naturally at like 6 o'clock. But you shouldn't have an alarm either. But when your alarm starts going off, you need to stand up, turn it off, and go do other things. Go do whatever thing is first thing in the morning for you. Go make breakfast, go clean, whatever you do first thing in the morning, you should do that before getting on your phone. And then when you plan to go do something or you have a bit of free time, then get on your phone, because you'll be more awake to think about the decisions you're making on your phone. Of course, a lot of it's still very bad for you, and you know a lot of it's a waste of time. You just don't want to really admit it to yourself, but you know for a fact that a lot of this content that you probably watch is a waste of time. The only content that I even watch still that I don't consider like just to eat time away is self-improvement videos. And that's it. And there's nothing else that I consume on a daily basis. There's no other videos that I consume on a daily basis that I'm like, oh yeah, this helps me. Like, it's alright to view an entertaining video once in a while, but unless it's genuinely improving your life, you know you're not viewing it to improve your life. Unless that video gives you advice on how to make your life better, it's not making your life much better. Going on a dopamine detox in that kind of situation is highly recommended. You can go look up what a dopamine detox is. I would advise like Dr. Andrew Huberman. He has a podcast. Just look up Andrew, Huberman, Andrew Huberman, and you'll probably find him. And he has a lot of really good, highly researched things that you can use to improve your life. My throat's starting to course, so I'm going to end this video here soon, but I want to go over a couple more things. The other thing that I mentioned, what the book said, that I was like, I don't really agree with that. I have to remember what it is. I wrote it down in my notes on the video, on the phone that I'm recording this with, so I don't think I can go and... Okay, there's going to be a cut, so I can go look up what I wrote. So the thing I was talking about, I found out, was that the book really loves to put a lot of emphasis on the brainwashing, or the big monster, as it's called in the book. It's basically this ideology that once you remove all the brainwashing that porn is enjoyable at all, the craving or even the desire to view it will go away completely. That's not entirely true, because I tried to go through quitting porn the first time with just eliminating the big monster. I didn't realize it, but there was another chapter after resources in EasyPeasy that's called Combining EasyPeasy with Jack Trimpey's AVRT, or Addictive Voice Recognition Therapy, I think. That's it. That was a really helpful resource. I soon found out. I didn't realize how helpful it actually was until I quit porn for the first time for real. I was off of it for a couple months before I caved back in to viewing softcore porn for other reasons, which I'll get to. But the main takeaway from it is that eliminate the brainwashing and ignore the cravings. The main way to eliminate the brainwashing is to read the book. Simple as that. The main way to eliminate the cravings and to be able to just not cave into them, like ever, is to go about the mentality of what the AVRT, the Addictive Voice Recognition Therapy, offers. Basically, it states that you don't have to listen to your cravings. There's no reason to listen to your cravings, and that the cravings that you get and the feelings associated with those cravings don't actually come from you. They come from the addiction, or in the case of the AVRT, they come from the limbic part of your brain, the limbic system part of your brain. And it only knows one thing, and it's that it wants its fix, and it wants it now. Mindfulness is the best way that I've figured out to go about this. The main way to go about mindfulness is to meditate, obviously. There's other ways to go about it, but that's by far the best way to do it. And once you eliminate the brainwashing and ignore the cravings by realizing that they're only thoughts, emotions, and desires, and they are not your actions unless you make them your actions, then quitting porn should be a breeze. I should also highly implore you to not go and try and find if there is a loophole to viewing pornography. Remember, there will always be a loophole in every single thing that you or anyone installs on your computer or phone. A really good idea of this is that I have Safe Search turned on Google right now, and a while back I looked up nudity through other resources that were supposed to be educational, like Wikipedia's articles that are on like different sex positions. I looked up that to see if that got the boot, and it turns out educational videos and educational content do not get deleted or restricted in any sort of way by any extension or any setting that you can turn on. Softcore will also always be a problem. The main way that I know this is that you can also go onto Reddit right now. The app Reddit, they won't let you do this in the Chrome version of Reddit. It won't let you do this in the browser version. But if you have the app Reddit downloaded, you can swipe over blur NSFW content, and you can still go look up softcore porn, like subreddits. Even subreddits that aren't supposed to be for that. A lot of subreddits can end up being that. So this is just a word of advice. Do not try and restrict yourself. For the last time, don't try and restrict yourself from it, and don't try and go looking through loopholes if you do restrict yourself from it. The only reason I have safe search turned on is so that I don't actually accidentally get sent a link or anything like that. That way, if someone sends me a porn link, it'll like come up with a firewall or whatever safe search does if you forwarded a porn link. I might actually go and try and see what the firewall is after this, but needless to say, just read EasyPeasy, read EasyPeasy's resources, and read and watch the resources in the EasyPeasy Discord server. Those are the three main things that you can do if EasyPeasy doesn't work, if EasyPeasy's resources doesn't work. If you combine all three of these things, as if you read the entire book, you read at least most of its notes and resources at the end of it, and you go into the EasyPeasy Discord server and you ask for help on your addiction. Those three things, given that you follow all of them correctly, you will be out of porn in less than a couple months, at least. At most. So, I hope this video has been helpful, at least at all. I have not done any sort of thing like this in an actual structured sort of way, and even then this video isn't very structured. I mean, you saw I had to go look at my notes. This is technically a separate recording. I had to go look at my notes. I had to stop the recording, go out of my camera, go into my notes app, and look at my notes on pornography, because that's where I got a lot of my ideas for this video. I don't know what the next video will be. I think it will be on... I think it'll be on... I don't know yet. When I upload it, I'll upload it. That is for sure. Yeah, I just hope you found this somewhat useful at all. This is just all my notes on porn. If I was to write a more structured version of this, I would put it down in the description, but it's way too late for that now. So for now, you're just gonna have this very unstructured video that's like, go read EasyPeasy, go read resources, go read its Discord's resources, and those three things combined, along with asking for help on the EasyPeasy server, like, you could probably access my account through that. You're done with one. I hope this was helpful at all. I don't know how helpful it'll be. I'm kind of just pumping out videos at the time being to get my personality and brand out there. Like, this is what self-improvement videos on my channel will look like, but this is not the only videos that I will have on my channel. I know that a lot of channels like to be self-improvement and self-improvement only, but I want to do other things as well. Among those being gaming, like very light gaming. Like, it'll probably be only for like a couple specific games. Like, I'll just do a playthrough on like a new game that comes out that I'm actually interested in. Like, I guess a good example of that would be like Tears of the Kingdom, the sequel to Breath of the Wild. It's a cool looking game. I don't care to play it. I don't play Breath of the Wild. I don't care to play Tears of the Kingdom. I don't need to play every video game that comes out. My friends had me initially playing Red Dead Redemption 2 before, and I might go back and play that game all the way through. It's a very long game though, so it'll probably take me quite a while, especially since I'm not good at it, and especially since I don't game very often anymore, and single player gaming is going to be very rare for me, at least up until I'm an adult and I have like complete freedom. At the very least, some level of financial freedom from this. From, you know, following my career. So until financial freedom is achieved, gaming for me will probably be very, very, very slim. I don't, outside of playing Clash of Clans for 30 minutes, and I might even remove Clash Royale from my digest. Aside from those two games, I haven't played a video game since I slept over at my friend's house last, which was the Friday before last Friday, as of you seeing this. It was before, what day would that have been? It was a week and a half ago by now. The Friday at like the very start of this month. So, the first Friday of this month, yeah. That's the last time that I genuinely actually played a video game or watched someone else play a video game in real life. I watch Let's Plays every so often, but I'm only going to watch Let's Plays from like 1 or 2 different YouTubers now. And I'm just going to unsubscribe from a lot of channels that I'm on. I think that'll be the next video topic, actually, so look forward to that. How to not waste your time on the internet. Look forward to that on my channel coming up next Monday or whenever I feel like recording a video. Probably next Monday, because record a video will probably be every Monday. I don't know if I'll get it up Monday, but that's when it'll be. That's when I'll record it. So, this is Jerky Perky signing off. I've got to change that name, because it doesn't describe me at all anymore, because I'm very anti-porn now. I'll change the name eventually, or I'll keep it just because it sticks. This is Jerky Perky signing off. I hope that you found this video useful, and I hope that you have a great day. Go out there and experience the real world. Do the things that I was talking about in the last video. You don't have to sell everything that you own, because stuff like drop shipping and all that stuff, that's all very difficult to actually make any sort of money off of. Like, if there's stuff that you don't use that you don't want, go and sell it. The thing that you need to do though is go outside. Just go outside, even if you're not playing with friends, just like go sit outside and get sun for an hour. You can just go do everything that you normally do outside. Go outside, make your life the best. And remember, there's no reason that people say that life is too pointless. Nihilists will tell you that life is pointless and that putting effort into anything is pointless, because it'll all be gone in the end. What I will tell you is that means no matter how many mistakes, failures, losses, anything that you take, it'll all be gone by the end. So why not? Why not try and live the absolute best life that you can? If it'll all get erased in the end, what's the point in not going for the best life possible? That is the message I'll leave with you today. If life is really so pointless and futile, live a happy one at least, right? Enjoy your time while you're here. Don't be looking down all the time. Don't be freaking super awkward around people. If it's all doesn't matter by the end to you anyway, then don't let it matter to you. Have the mindset of someone that says, oh, nothing matters in the end anyway, instead of nothing matters in the end anyway. If you're going to go for nihilism, go for positive nihilism. And remember, no matter what you do, no matter how many mistakes, failures, or whatever your life looks like, if it truly doesn't matter in the end, and you know it doesn't matter in the end, then go for the best that you can. If life doesn't truly matter, you might as well at least make what you have a good one. Signing off.